Truth seekers. All right, we're live. It is Tuesday night, and I hope you had a great weekend because we got a great show for you. And I'm going to kickstart it right now with my opening monologue for you. And if you didn't know, I'm Roderick Martin, the host of Truth versus Authority podcast. And I'm here every Tuesday night here on Forbidden Knowledge at 8 p.m. And you can find me on my personal channel as well, Truth versus Authority. Just search Roderick Martin on YouTube. So I'll begin with, you think your blood is your own, right? You think that the history that you've been taught, that the story of kings, presidents, rebels, and even revolutionaries was a war of ideas, of nations. I just want to tell you, you've been lied to, okay? History is not a war of ideas. It's a war of genetics. It is the story of two bloodlines fighting for dominion over a planet, and one of them is not human, okay? So I just want you to know, they talk of blue bloods. They tell you it's a metaphor for what we would consider a noble birth. You need to understand that the powerful do not deal in metaphors. They deal in realities that they hide from you in plain sight. Remember, your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. So look at the symbols of their power. The dragons and the serpents called on their royal crest, on the logos of their ancient corporations, on the cornerstones of their banks. And you thought it was just mythology. It is biology, and it is a family emblem. So they built their empires not on gold and steel, but on a corrupt ancient DNA, a genetic code passed down through secrets, unions that they made in a shadow of history, a pact made between man and serpent when the world was very young. So I'm here to tell you, this is the ultimate secret. The reason for their insatiable hunger for power and their cold-blooded lack of empathy and their methodical drive to enslave you, and it's in their blood. And they are hybrids, the serpent kings, the dragons, or the children of dragons, I could say, and they have been ruling you from the moment your ancestors first walked the earth. And this isn't a theory, ladies and gentlemen. This is a diagnosis. The sickness is in the bloodline of power, and the fever is about to break. And so I'm going to take a short break, get my notes together here so that we can dive straight into it right after this.
That back there is not real.
There was a group of reptilians there, and they stood around me in a circle.
Tradition tells us that the army of the Messiah is not to come from heaven, but is to arise in our earth.
So for thousands of years, the masses have been, I would say, conditioned to accept the rule of a secret few. They call it divine right of kings. They call it, aristocracy, whatever you want to call it. They call it the establishment. And we have been told that this natural order of things, that is power consolidated through wealth, strategy, and inheritance. This is a calculated deception. Now, the divine right of ruling elite has nothing to do with God and everything to do with genetics. I want you to know that. And the secret that has been protected by wars, assassinations, centuries of rituals in this ruling bloodlines of this planet are not entirely human. I want you to know that. I'm going to repeat that. The bloodlines of this ruling bloodline of this planet is not entirely human. All right. So the core of this global conspiracy is a genetic reality. Now, we're talking about researchers, insiders. They all allege for millennia that there is an inner core of global elites, right? And let me just make sure I get that right. In a secret government for you. Now, these people apparently have worked hand in claw, and I'm going to use that as metaphorically speaking, with a race of hominoid reptilian beings, right? So these people are some hybrids. We could say that. Now, this is not a spiritual influence either, so don't be mistaken by that. It's a physical, biological infiltration. The ancient temper in the garden did more than just offer knowledge. It was interbred. I want you to know. And so this created a hybrid of bloodline, a fusion of human and reptilian DNA that has been meticulously managed and passed down through generations. All right. We're talking about the Illuminati, the 33 third degree Masonry. We're talking about the Jesuits, the Skull and Bones. These are not just secret clubs. These are genetic gatekeepers, and they are breeding programs and control structures designed to protect this hybrid lineage and place its members into the highest position of global power. Now, this reptilian influence is the hidden hand behind families that control global finance and politics. Families like the Rothschilds, if you've heard, who have long been at the heart of this conspiracy, and the established dynasties like the Bush family, or whose members are recruited into what they consider the elite clubs or cults like the Skulls and Bones. So I'm sure you heard of that. And their strategy is total. They play both sides of the conflicts, creating, financing, and just putting all this opposing movements together like communism and Nazism and to create the chaos which they impose their order. And David Icke talks about a problem, reaction, solution. They create the problem, we give them a reaction, same people create the problem, comes back with the solution. That's what they do. And they use their vast wealth laundered through national banks, offshore companies, and the fun black budget projects that they have, drug trafficking, wars, all advance their singular goal, a planetary lockdown under absolute rule of the reptilian hybrid bloodlines that they have. I just want you to know that. And the evidence of their identity is not hidden, people. It's displayed openly for all of us to see. It's encoded in very symbols of their power. They believe you are too programmed, too distracted, too foolish to recognize the mark of the beast that they wear as a crown. And they've been doing it for quite some time. And so to give you an idea of me doing what I'm doing, I'm going to give you just a little taste of the years and how I've gone into this subject so that you can follow when you get ready. Okay, so this book, real quickly, is The Secret History of Reptilians by Scott Roberts. You can find this on Amazon. I've read it. This is one of my favorites. Real simple to go. Jordan Maxwell put it there, or The Reptilian Aliens Among Us. Go check that one out. If you haven't, go. I have every book that David Icke has written. I haven't read them all, but I read the ones. This one started it all, The Biggest Secret. So you can go check that out when you want to get into more about the reptilians. This one here is The Global Conspiracy. You see the reptilian eye right there in the middle. I'm just going to give you a list of these things. So, because what I'm going to talk about tonight, you need to know they didn't just come out the stars nowhere. Okay. This one is about the Nephilim, the giants, connects to the reptilian. It's a good book. It's by Casper Langer. You want to check it out. You can find that on Amazon. This one is one of the best that you can find. Flying Serpents and Dragons. All right. You find this on Amazon by Boulay. And you will not be disappointed reading this particular book. This one is The Reptilian Agenda. And this one is by Earth's Darkest Secrets Decoded. And they don't even want to put their name on it because they share some stuff. You've probably seen this emblem everywhere, the reptilian alien origin, the human species. People are not just putting this stuff out there. This one is one you really probably want to read, The Reptilian Plan to Conquer Divine and divide and conquer the human race. And so they have a plan. We always talk about the reptilian agenda. This particular author, I've read all his books, will give you some great stuff. He has Reptilian Bible, it's version 1 through 4, and he ties everything in the biblical Bible to reptilians so that you can find it and see it right in plain sight. And he has 4 books, and I've read every one of those. Then you get into something deeper, which you're not going to find on the internet. This is The Reptilian Connection of Man. This is volume 4. I have all 4 volumes. It is 1,600 pages of this reptilian stuff that we have right in front of us. And so I have read this, study it. I talk about it pretty much. And one of the best of them is Be Wise as a Serpent. You can find this a couple of $100 on YouTube. It is going to shake your head up. And it's all about the serpent, but it all ties to this book right here, the 13 bloodlines of the original bloodlines of the Illuminati, Rothschilds, all of those, that ties all the way back, way long back to the world where those reptilians began. And it's All that information is right in front of you. And so I'm only just doing that just to give you the pretext of why I'm telling you this information and go there. And we can go even further real quickly. If you want to look me up, you can find me on Gaia. I'm a brand ambassador for Gaia. I'm on George Norrie's Beyond the Belief. I was featured on Open Minds with Regina Meredith. I've been in documentaries hosted on the Alien Endgame, which is on Discovery Channel right now, on Amazon or HBO. I've been on 2B and Roswell, on Fox 2B, Forbidden Knowledge. I've been in, their documentary, The Black Knight Satellite, and was featured on Ancient Aliens and all those places. And so I know a lot of you didn't really know that background, but I thought tonight would be really good to lay it out there so that you know that I got your back. I got your back. I have your back when it comes down to this topic that we're talking about, right? And so let me just begin with when I first started this and seeing what I call the serpent everywhere. I thought it was about worship, in the beginning. I thought it was like a secret religion, a dark god, right? Or, boy, was I wrong. It was so much more literal than that. So you don't put a picture of your God on your family crest. You put a picture of your ancestors. Remember that. This isn't a symbol of who worships. It's a symbol of who they are. It's a family portrait. So when you start seeing this, pay attention to, the little things that they do. See, because these symbols on a coat of arms are a declaration of lineage, power, origin. And across European and Asian royalty, one symbol appears with unnerving frequency, and that is the dragon or the serpent. And Chinese tradition speaks of dragons that live under the earth. Foundational myth of Britain, Scandinavia, Germany, they all step into the draconic lore, right? And in its official narratives, these are symbols of chaos to be conquered. But in the bloodline narrative, the dragon is not the enemy. It's the patriarch of what's going on. And so when you start thinking about all this stuff, you have to look in it. And now I've stacked all these books up, but the one down there that says Bloodlines and Dragons, you could start there. And it'll give you some good information, because if you want to talk about the double-headed eagle, they show that all the time. And we'll get into that Masonic context, maybe not this show, but in another one. But the most profound and revealing of these bloodline markers is that double-headed eagle. So it's the symbol, and I would say it's the dual of sovereignty, right? It's like the dual symbol of sovereignty when you go back to the union of church and state. So I'll touch on it just a little bit for you. But in this point, you should know that this is the surface level meaning intended for the uninitiated. So I'll just kind of stop right there and let start looking it up. Look up this double eagle and you will see it. And you can come to downtown Dallas where I live, and there's a big old lodge with the double-headed eagle sitting right there in plain sight. They don't hide it. They do not hide it. But you have to look at it with open eyes. And I say it again, your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. You have to look at it with open eyes. And on the union of the church and state, do you really believe that that's all it is? Some people do. So I want you to look at it. It's a biological statement. Why does one body have two heads? Okay? Because it represents hybrid. That's what it represents. The perfect fusion of human and reptilian. We're talking about reptilian consciousness in a single ruling entity is what this is all about. See, one head is the human mask, the face of the politician or the king, and it shows the public one world. The other head is true nature. It's looking back into the shadows. It's in a subterranean reptilian empire, which it draws its power from. And this isn't the sign of political union. This is the sigils of a genetic takeover. And it's the symbol of the ultimate infiltrator, the reptilian hybrid that rules two worlds at once, ours and theirs. Okay. All right. So I just want to throw that out there because the symbol of hybrid sovereignty traces a clear path through history's most powerful institutions. It's the emblem of the Byzantine Empire, the Russian Tsars, the Holy Roman Empire. It remains in holy whatever now, right? It remains the symbol of 33 third degree Scottish Rite Freemasonry, the highest level initiation. And this is the symbolic thread of the bloodline passed down through ages. This lineage is protected. Oh God, it is. and cultivated with closed doors of secret societies. You better believe it. Institutions like Yale, Skull and Bones, right? Or merely networking clubs. They're a recruiting ground for Pacific elite families who have served the agenda for generations. Families like the Whitneys, or whatever, the Witness. And I don't know why I'm thinking about witness protection, because I was going to give you some information, but the Whitneys is the family that I'm thinking about, but something just flashed and said, I know some stuff that I shouldn't say to you. But that's okay. It's out there now. I'm talking about it, right? And we talk about the rituals and the oaths of these orders that they have done, that they do. And man, I'm telling you, this stuff gets really deep, all right? And so pay attention to what we're talking about. And as you should know, I have a grammar box and I have a letter box over here. So if you hear me repronounce something wrong or don't say it right or pronounce it not accurately, but your conscious understood what came out of my mouth, that means your conscious works. But if you have to correct me in the chat, then that's your ego working. And you have unlimited letters up here. And so my job is to give you enough information you can hear, see, read, or whatever, and to come to the possibilities that there is some strange things happening in this world. And that is a fact of the matter that we're talking about right now, because it is there. So the other part of this is that the reptilian bloodlines they want to ensure members are placed in position of absolute control over global society. That's what they're doing, people. The serpent worship, this all occurs in the highest degrees of masonry. When you think about it, it's not a adoration; it's a deity. They're activating this deity. It's a rite of ancestral reverence. When you think about it, a pledge of allegiance to the non-human progenitors. When you really look into this, okay, and so that is something that you can go deeper in. But there was a time that I thought I had it. The picture seemed clear. And it was only about, there's shapeshifters everywhere. That's where, that's it. I know there's shapeshifters. This is a long time ago. And I was like, okay, there's just one ancient corrupt bloodline, a single reptilian entity with its hybrid children, all working toward one goal, one enemy, one agenda. It was simple. It was clean. It was completely freaking wrong. Just when I thought I was looking at the pyramid of power, I realized something, that I was staring into the pit of vipers, and they were fighting each other too. See, because this is what people don't see right now. That's why so many factions and so many breaks off. That reptilian DNA and that reptilian brain, it created other factions. Now, when we want to talk about the historical and mythological records to not support the theory of what I would say a unified reptilian monolith, but instead they all point toward deep and ancient schisms. Buddhist lore, for example, tells us of a great war in which the human prince led his army into the caverns in Asia to drive out malevolent race of lizard people who were manipulating the surface. I talked about that entirely on my show last night. So if you go to my personal channel, you should check that video out. It's really rocking right now. And all you have to do is just go right here. You can search Roderick Martin, Truth versus Authority. That's my YouTube channel. And I did a whole show on that last night. And there's a link in the description of this video. So that'll take you there as well. So you can definitely, check that out as well. We can do that. Now, all right. So I'm looking at the chat. So we have somebody that I'm going to call out. She says, you're doing too much. I don't understand nothing you're saying, like endless word salad. Booby, I got a message for you. Sometimes our intelligence level gets so at a place where we think we're smart and we think we don't see what somebody's saying. And it's a reason for that for you. And my suggestion for you is to unsubscribe. You should go away, because if I'm saying something sound like a salad, which is maybe because I'm just whatever, you're not hearing it, and then Billy talks way up here some more, you may be in the wrong place. You might just be in the wrong place. And for you to speak out in this manner, not thinking I'm going to read that and just let it go like, and I'm saying I can understand where you are, because I'm talking about something that's based on religion, which is the most controlled system that we've had. And it keeps us from being able to understand stuff like this. I understand where you are, but that message tells me you're not ready to hear what I'm talking about tonight. And so I'm going to give you a word of encouragement. Go away. You need to go away, because this is not going to, what I'm going to say is going to rattle you, and you're going to blame me. And so I can be that victim or the villain for you, but truth is your villain, and you can't handle that truth. Okay. So I just want you to know that let's not go there, and save yourself from it. I love you. I want you to know I love you. You know, I love you 100%. And that's why I do what I do. But I'm going to love you enough to tell you today is not today for you. Okay. So tomorrow could be, but today is not today. So let me continue, because that's how much love that I have. So just know it's not your day. All right. So where I'm going with this is the victory established human-led Septarian empire in Agartha when I was talking about yesterday's video. But other accounts suggest that they had the same Agarthan empire later formed as an alliance with certain reptilian groups. Okay, so when you want to go back looking at that, you want to go to Hindu, the legends of Nagas describe not a single race, but a complex society of serpent beings living in 7-level underworld with conflicts, right? Hierarchies and different motivations. And this is not a profile of a single hive mind. It's the profile of civilizations fractured by internal conflict. And this is what they do. You get what I'm saying? And I'm saying to you that it's an alliance. It's a war underground. And it blew a whole theory I had for years apart. And if some of these reptilians were driven out and others would later formed alliances with humans, then we're not dealing with a single enemy anymore. We're dealing with factions of competing power blocks. And that is when the most terrifying thought of this occurred to me. Like, wait a minute, everybody's after our souls. There's a lot of people after our souls, a lot of factions. You know, it's like they form secret societies and they all want power. And you know who is the prey? It's us. We are the prize. And what if the wars of human history was not even human wars at all, but it was the endless brutal conflicts between royal families? Now think about it. When we start even think about it, as I throw this off a little bit, you start thinking about the wars in heaven, the angels and what, but they was fighting up there before they came down here. And correct me if I'm wrong, right? I could be. But everything always been in history that everybody's fighting over this prison planet. Everybody want control. Everybody who flew in from the spaces, we sat there and said, oh, there must be gods. And they were like, yeah, we'll be your God. We're going to rule you. And so there's been a lot of wars, and we have been the prize. And these world wars were decimated generations. Because think about it. I'm going to put it to you like this. We already should know that religion was formed to control us, right? Am I y'all with me on that? So now I'm gonna connect a quick dot. More people, and here's something I'll show you. I showed one day I was talking to a crowd, and I had the SWAT sticker on one side, and I had the cross on one side, and I said something about more people dying, and everybody kept pointing to the SWAT sticker because they go, okay, Germany, Hitler did I said, no, it's the cross. The cross itself, and more people have died in the name of religion on the face of the planet. People will strike you down over religion. And we already know religion ties back to the control system. They're fighting each other over us, the spiritual ones. You get what I'm saying, right? Not the religious ones, but the spiritual ones. See, the world wars that decimated those generations, you're talking about the Cold War, they brought us to the brink of annihilation, if you remember that. And what if it was all just a proxy war, a reptilian civil war for the hybrids fought with bloodlines on the surface, using us, pure blood humans, as their expendable armies? Was the clash of the empires just a squattable between, rival dragon families for control of human form? It reframes every battle. Every treaty, every assassination in history has moved in their game, not ours. See, we haven't been the players. We've been the chessboard. We've been a chessboard. Just think about what I'm talking about, right? Think about it. And we're just like, okay, we can look at it. We can go there, right? So when the vision of the warring hybrid factions is a perfect projection of nature of the collective shadow, right? The shadow is not coherent; it's unified entity. It is a rhythm of chaos that's repressed by primal instincts, often a war with one another. And imagine the conflict between different reptilian bloodlines that mirror the internal conflict with the dark side of the human psyche itself. See, the drive for pure destruction clashes with the drive for cunning control. Raw predation clashes with territory strategy. Human history, in this light, becomes the internalized battlefield for the fragmented warring components of our own disowned and unconscious nature. And when you want to talk about the great horror, it's not a single monster that is trying to control us, but that we're caught in a crossfire of our own, or what I would say, many-headed demons. We all know that, right? Them demons are everywhere. They're everywhere. Everybody wants our souls. Everybody wants the spirits. We are the prize. You get what I'm saying? And it's crazy when you start looking at it in the real face of the real world. And I'm gonna give you a more metaphysical approach here next. All right, just hang with me in a minute. I'm gonna give you that. So where I'm going with this is, if you begin to look at our history, and I'm just throwing this out of left field, but I'm gonna catch it in my thoughts here. So there was a lot of things, people and stuff here before we got here, because the Bible says that. Because someone said, let's make man in our image and the likeness of ourselves. So whoever that group of people was already here. Adam and Eve, or Cain and Abel, or whoever was in there and told God that, please don't put us out there. They are going to kill me. Obviously, God says, no, they're not, because I'm going to put a mark on you. Obviously, whoever was out there was more than before we was in here in the Garden of Eden. And so therefore, there was got to been some human type something out there already who would have killed them, that God needed to give them the word, and the word to say, I'm going to protect you with a mark. Because why would this old just God say these things if he did all knowing science to believe omniscience didn't know that there was the most stuff out there? Because he did. And he said, they're not going to touch you. And who is they? I don't know. Maybe you tell me. I'm just guessing. All right. I'm just guessing. Okay. I'm guessing. I was completely lost in the labor of their genetics back in their history, their endless wars against each other. I was playing their game for a while, focusing on the bloodline. Because like I said, I was reading this book, but that's the trap. That is the trap. I just want you to know. The secret isn't what's in their bloodline. It's what's missing. It's the spiritual component that they had to sacrifice for the cold-blooded survival. Their power isn't their strength. It's their profound and horrifying emptiness. That's what it is. That's what it is. Okay? So I'm like, all right, we will get there. We will get there. All right. So we'll talk a little about in the archetypes a little bit. We'll talk about every force has a planetary signature. The consciousness of the reptilian hybrid is pure unified embodiment of Mars. Mars is the archetype force in motion. They will act to conquer, to assert, to survive. It is in the shadow form. It's brutally the rage, uncontrolled dominance, and the tyranny, I would say, a will divorced from wisdom. This is the reptilian mind, people. A consciousness of perpetual conflict, constantly driven by survival instinct that sees all other life as either a threat or a freaking resource. And people, we're both. Your spiritual people that sitting there awaken and really awaken, you're a threat. And the people who don't get it, who were just here a while ago, they're a resource. You got to be careful with that. And that's why we got to save everybody. So today, and I'm not harping, I'm just saying sometimes we got to work together. We can't leave anybody behind, right? We can't. And their endless wars are not a flaw in their plan. They are the plan itself. It's all they know. It's all they know. And what does this Martian consciousness lack in its divine counterbalance? It's Venus. See, Venus is the archetype of attraction, love, harmony, and the aesthetic order. That's Venus. She is the principle of the magnetic. You know, she's just there. You can say, all right, she's got magnetic personality. If you meet someone who's operating in their Venus, the force that draws beings together into beauty and cohesion. Where Mars conquers, Venus persuades. Where Mars rules through conflict, Venus creates through connection. And she is that. That's all I would say. And this is their fatal flaw. This is their spiritual poverty. The reptilian bloodline is a consciousness without Venus. And they can simulate emotion and they can mimic compassion to manipulate us, but they cannot truly feel it. They can build empires, but they can't build a true civilization because they lack the magnetic, loving force that holds it together. This is why every show, you'll hear me tell people, I love you, regardless of the whatever, because we got to continue love. And at the end of this show, if you hang around, because I'm gonna do some thought-provoking things after my little monologue here, because we're gonna be here about an hour or two, because I'm gonna go deep tonight. And so I'm gonna tell you, if you haven't been told, that I love you. Maybe I just spilled the beans, because I do. You know, I don't hear it as often as I should, but I will tell you, I know I'm talking to hundreds and thousands of people. The video I just did yesterday is 6,000 to 7,000 views. So I told people I love them early on. 7,000 people heard they got love. Last week, 20,000. I got a video on this channel, 1 million views, that I tell people I love you. I've told 1 million people that I love them, and I don't even know them, but I do. And we can all spread the love, because that's the problem that they're having, is loving people, right? People that love unconditionally. You know, I ain't say stupidly. You don't have to love somebody stupidly, but you can love unconditionally, though. And loving force, that's what holds it all together. Y'all with me, right? In fact, if you there, why don't y'all right now in the chat, I want all of you not to say you love me, just say I love y'all. Put it in the chat. Let's just see we get a bunch of I love y'all, so that way people who are seeing it know you're talking to the masses of people who are watching in the chat and who's going to see it later on. Just give us a whole scroll of I love y'all, because that's what we need. There we go. Fortune, I love y'all. I love you. There we go. That's what I'm saying. Let's just pass it. It's and you will feel, I feel the energy right now. You should be feeling it right now. You will feel it. You will feel it right now. I'm look at this. Look, you see that? I got those bumps coming. Look at this coming all over, because I can feel it. It's true energy. It's true power. It's true power. I want you to know it's true power. And just keep it coming. Let people know we love y'all. We love y'all. And we do. And you read it. If you can't say it to someone, but you're going to see somebody's talking to you, that's cool. Take it. Get it. Take the currency of that transaction. I want you to know that, because their entire system is built on force, fear, division, because that's the only stuff that they know, that they understand. That's the only stuff that they understand. And this is where our power lies. The divine right to rule is a genetic fraud, right? Humanity's divine right is our spiritual inheritance. That's where it is. It's our spiritual inheritance. Thank y'all. Thank you all who are telling people you love all. Thank you. I appreciate you. And we're live tonight, and it's great. So it is the one thing, like I said, it can't replicate and it can't extinguish, is our capacity for Venusian love, our ability to create art. I know some of the most beautiful people that are creating art. I met a few people this past week that create some of the most powerful artwork. You artists are the people that are drawing the things in the world that some people have to stare to understand, and it puts them in a silent mode to reflect. That's a great thing if they can, if they can understand what's happening to them. Keep up the good work. But you got to understand, to feel empathy, to build communities based on trust instead of terror. That is probably the greatest thing to do when you're thinking about it, right? You have to, So the conflict, therefore, is not just between races, but it's between two cosmic principles. It is the war between spirituality, barren bloodline that rules through Martian fire of conquest, and a spiritually rich humanity whose destiny is to create through that Venusian heart of connection. See, the reptilian agenda is the final desperate attempt by a dying predatory consciousness to consume the light of evolving empathetic ones. It is the cold logic of the predator against the radiant warmth of the soul. We have the soul. We got the soul. We're doing what we're doing. You get what I'm saying? And so their power comes from their bloodline. And it is the secret that they have killed to protect. A fragile change of genetics guarded by ancient oaths and secret rituals. You better believe it. It is a power based on exclusion and on purity and being separated from the rest of us. But that is their weakness. Our power is not our blood, but it's in our connection. It's not a secret to be hoarded, but a force to be shared, a heart to heart. This is why I'm saying we telling everybody we love them. Let's do it. They have built a pyramid, rigid, brittle, and with themselves at the top of it, and humanity crushed at the bottom. That's how they're doing it. But we're not a pyramid. We're a network. We're a community. And that rolls me into all of you who came to our Dallas meetup this past weekend, Dallas Conscience and Conspiracy meetup. We had a great time. We had a great time in Dallas. And we're going to do another one at the third weekend of this month, October. I got to get the date, but it's the third Saturday. And in the description of this video, there is a link that you, or 800 number, you dial the 800 number, text the word meetup, and it will put you on our text list and you'll get all our updates. And then we're going to be doing some stuff with Brother Joseph in Houston, if y'all have heard of him. Great guy, my boy, you know, and he teaches some deep stuff. And he has an event coming up October the 4th. So if you haven't got your tickets, go to Brother Joseph's page, his websites or his YouTube channel, links or whatever, and find and be down in Houston. I'm going to be down there. So I'm going to go down there October the 4th. So definitely, I hope y'all coming and checking him out, you know, and I hope you're coming and checking him out. You know what I mean? And Booby, I love you. Thank you for staying here. And I'm glad you didn't leave. Okay. Thank you. But, and sometimes we do operate in our shadows and our other side. And sometimes but we have to learn to, even myself, we have to learn to integrate the shadow, to control it, to understand it. But anyway, thank you for hanging in there. All right. So, and y'all give a shout out to her as well. All right. So what I'm going with this is, Dallas, Texas, you know, I'm not where that is. I was going with that, but real quickly, I have to do this though. We were sponsored by Noble Metals. All right. This is a company, and you definitely, there's a description in the video. They have a monatomic gold, and it's got methylene blue in it. You can put the drops in your mouth. I'm gonna actually do that afterwards. I have monotonic gold, which is what they have. And then they have nano silver droplets and stuff. And this company is one of our sponsors of our groups. And Justin Carson, Billy Carson's son, also is part owner. So y'all support from there. We have another one. It's Fresh Mouth Club. Y'all might have met them at the Conscious Award. They're one of our sponsors. And they gave us to give to everyone a nano silver toothpaste. They got a lot of other products, but this is good with elderberry, and they have a killer hydrogen water bottle. I use it. And we gave samples, and we will do it the next event, samples and a toothbrush of nano silver toothpaste. Their link is in there. Nano Silver Health is in our description. And boy, do we have a love for this young lady, is Phoenix Fire. Okay. She was there on location. She's one of our sponsors too. And this bath salt, I already tried so much. It's great. She even had this black charcoal soap. So I tried the soap, and this is another one. But you know what? This protection oil, man, handcrafted herbal protection oil that she offers on her website. Her website is down there, phoenixfirejuju.com. Support all of these people. They support us. They're our sponsors. And we're growing that Dallas thing so big. And it's going to be hundreds of people pretty soon. We either going to get Billy. A lot of people going to come down and just bless this group quietly. So you want to be part of what we're doing. So check it out, all in the description of the video. So let me continue. I just needed to throw that out because I had segued into it, because we are a network. You remember, I said we are a network. And so I wanted to throw that in. Now, we're also a living web of consciousness that grows stronger with every new connections. And we don't need a divine right to rule us. We need a divine right to be free. See, that was the ultimate goal, was for us to be free. That's where it is, okay? to be free is where it is. All right. And we need to do that. We are the true inheritors of this world, not by a reptilian bloodline, but by the fire of human spirit. All right. We want to do that. So check out Phoenix Fire. How about that? And it's in the link is in the description of the thing. Support her, man. Fabulous lady. You know, like I said, these people wasted no time. So we will support and be a sponsor of your Dallas events, and we just growing this thing. Okay. And so I thought it's time for us to do a conspiracy conscious, give a place where people can physically come and share their experiences. We have people sharing some of the intimate stuff that's happening, and they've really figured out they're not alone with this crap. That's that dreams, that sleep, that stuff that's just going on. Other people's like, yeah. So when you start hearing things connected in distant areas like that, that is so freaking powerful. Okay. So anyway, I just want you to know the camera, we got to understand how we're going to do this. So let's do this for a minute. My camera was blinking here. So luckily I'm looking on the screen. It's not, because boy, we was having a lot of problems the last time. And anyway, somebody say I live in Houston, so I can attend your meets. Maybe on this day, the old lady with flatter. You know what? Whatever, Roberta, come and see us. But we're going to be in Houston on October the 4th at Brother Joseph's place. So why don't you, check him out and just kind of see where that is. Well, anyway, they want you to be hypnotized by their power and to be terrified by their ancient lineage, to believe that their blood makes them gods and you a slave. This is the final lie. See, the real war comes down to the choice you make, and right now, in the temple of your own body. And the question is not about their blood, it's about yours. It's about yours. And you are allowing, I can't say that. Let me switch the question. What are you allowing to run through your veins? How about that? Because I'm not blaming nothing on anybody. Because how dare could I do that? Because we all in the same, or being, or going, or have been in the same boats, because we're the same. So the other part of this is the cold-blooded of the reptilian brain, reaching in fear or operating in what I would say pure survival, seeing your brothers and sisters as competition. That is their frequency. That is their inheritance, and they want to claim it as your own. That's what they want you to do. Or you can choose the warm blood of the human heart. You can, the blood of courage, of empathy, not apathy, of fears and irrational love. And, honestly, I was telling somebody one day, and I don't wait to tell anybody. 25 times 2 plus 5. Okay, that's how old I am. You can figure that out. Okay. And I was telling somebody that I think now, that as I've been in this world, all the great things and greater things that I'm to do, I now could say that true love is the last phase of what I want to experience. Okay. So yeah, I understand love exists and people love people in their own ways. But what exactly is that? And maybe I could have had it, didn't know it. But for some reason, the longing for it is now growing as I now helping more and more people, thousands of people. And by the way, Billy mentioned it to me. Billy texted me yesterday, Billy Carson, y'all know what that is, you're on his channel. And he said, Roderick, in a couple of days, your book is going to be live. He's the publisher, and it's called The Unspeakable Truth, How Fake History, Christianity, and Self-Oppression Robs African-American Cultures of Their Voice of the UFO Revolution. And he wrote the foreword. It's on Forbidden Knowledge website. There is a link in here, and we're going to make it go a bestseller. All right. So Forbidden Knowledge is my publisher company as well. And 2 years, baby, in the making. And he said, it is going live. And I'm supposed to get a bunch of copies too. So at our next event, I'm going to do some signed ones for you guys who's in our Dallas or who shows up. But this is going to be great, baby. And it's part 1 of part 2 series. And so that is just life. And I'm in a great place. But true love is something that I put out there. Now, I do it either for the most scariest reason, because you can meet people who may be potential for you, but if you tell them the expectations, then sometimes they run off, or sometimes, and again, I don't know what that is either. So maybe those people can go on that journey together. You can go on that journey with whoever, but what I'm going to do to get that love back, I'm going to put out a whole darn lot of love. So I love everybody, because when that boomerang comes back, I want to feel it, baby. All right. So anyway, the blood of courage, empathy, and irrational love is what it is. This is your true birthright. It is I would say it's the spiritual bloodline that's passed through kings, right? Well, not passed through kings, but passed through your ancestors. It's yours. All right. That's what I'm talking about. And it's spiritual stuff, right? And it's not going through kings and queens that they're trying to teach us, but through every act of kindness and creation since the dawn of time. They only rule earth because you have forgotten you are a child of the sun. I just threw that in there. You're a child of the sun. You should do things with the sun. You should be coordinating with the sun. Why not? A sovereign being of light and fire. Their bloodline is the cosmic dead end, built on domination and destined to consume itself in an endless war. Your spirit is infinite beginning. I just want you to know that, okay? I want you to know it. There are people out there who trust the government. Well, you know what? Everybody's going to trust the hands that feed them, right? And how many of us been bitten, Keith, by somebody we trust, man? And the government, in some cases, are sending people checks every month. The government is paying rent every month. Replaces fatherhoods in some cases. The government, a lot of people are married to Uncle Sam. And sometimes it's our men's fault. I will have to say that some of our ladies found a new husband and his Uncle Sam. So the government is married, got a lot of wives. And he take care of them, though. In some cases, hey, he's sending food out each month. He's providing, but he control. It's a narcissist. Oh, I ain't even going to go there tonight. I'm not even going to go there. It's time for you to claim your inheritance. All right. So that's part of my, that's part of my monologue. I'm going to get into a little more detailed things here so that we can kind of go deeply. But one thing's for certain, I believe that symbolism is really important in where we're going. I got a lot of humor tonight, a lot of energy. And I believe that symbolism is really important and that we should understand symbolism. Okay. We have to. We should understand symbolism. All right. And what I did was I wanted to create this net to bring people into that everything in life is a symbolism. It's symbols and symbolism, no matter what it is, from the minute things to the things. And I started this new channel called It's Not a Thing. And it's only, the video is only 2 to 3 minutes, but in those 2 to 3 minutes, I give you some profound way to look at life, to help you through what's going on, or to motivate you to share and give some other people. Now, my goal right now, I need 1,000 subscribers to make this channel, and YouTube say, okay, let's pass this out. And I just put up a new video. It's about 3 minutes, but I'm going to give you the first 6 to 30 seconds so you can see where I'm going. And I showed y'all some samples last week. And there's a link in the description to get to that channel, but it's called It's Not a Thing. And everything I talk about, this is not a pen, this is not a jar, this is not a book, maybe this is not. And I try to give you a whole new perspective on life. And so I'll give you a quick example of the video I just put up today. And you tell me what you think of this first little 30, 45 seconds.
Look at this. You may not believe it, but this is not a pen. It's hidden symbolism explained. It feels like one. An instrument, a tool for marking the page, but it's a sword for the silent warrior, a key for the locked room of the mind. Society sees a simple tool for communication, for taking notes or signing a name, but its true power is a paradox. It has the power to build entire worlds or to sign them away in oblivion. It can record the most beautiful truth or craft the most destructive lies. It's an object of immense power that remains completely inert, waiting for a conscience to guide it. We think we wield the pen, but in truth, the pen reveals our will. The choice to create or to destroy is the signature of the soul.
All right, so that's my latest creation of short videos, and I would love for you to check it out. The link is in the description all the way toward the bottom or in the front, in the middle, and it says this is not a thing, and the owl sees. So if you go to YouTube, because it's new, if you type this is not a thing, it probably don't index because I don't have a 3 or 4 videos there. I have this is not a pond, this is not a bench, this is not flower or yellow flower, this is not a tree. And they're all about 2-3 minutes, something that you can just look at, get a perspective from. And I would love for you to subscribe in a few days. I've gotten 300 some subscribers, but I need 1,000. And then we got to watch some videos. But if everybody who enjoyed love and seeing life at a different perspective could go there, then it will be most appreciative to help jumpstart this channel off. And then watch a couple of the videos, maybe 6 minutes of your time if you have that. If I can give you value tonight, that is worth 6 minutes of your time. I know you gave me a lot now watching me, and that is so important now. But just a few more after this when we're over. But we're going to go into some deeper layers now. First, we're going to go into the revelation and the symbolism of what we're talking about here. Because first, when I unmasked the true purpose behind their symbols, and I'm reading from my notes here now, because otherwise that was my monologue, so I can kind of just talk, a little bit. But now I have to go through my notes. I exposed their most blatant confessions, right? They told us that dragons and serpents were their royal crest and were mythology, but it was all a lie. It's their religion. It's their biology and family emblem in plain sight, right? And so I had to think about that, because the ultimate lesson here is that you don't put a symbol of your God on your crest. Remember I said that earlier, but a picture of your ancestors. And this was never worship. It was a family portrait, right? When you think about it. So let's be clear. What the double-headed ego truly means is a sigil of genetic takeover. One head is the human mask up for the public, while the other one looks back to the subterranean reptilian empire that it fuels, okay? And that's what happens. And what's going on, Veronica Mendoza? Thank you. So here's what the secret society, Skulls and Bones, and the Illuminati really are. They're genetic gatekeepers and breeding programs designed to protect the reptilian DNA and also place their heritage lineage into power. That's what they have to do. So look at this, though. We're getting to what I call the wars of vipers. See, the entire game changed the moment I realized that I wasn't looking into that unified pyramid of power that they show us, but the pit vipers, like I said, they're fighting each other, the reptilian agenda. Now, the key insight is that they use the high ground is knowing that our world wars were never human wars at all. They were reptilian civil wars. That's why you see those books of the Nephilims and whoever got thrown from up there to thrown down here. Y'all remember that, right? They got thrown down here. Everybody was up there. They know what we was down here minding our own business. And people got thrown down here. And then they were like, oh, it's not so bad. We can control these people. And they're going to treat us like gods because we fell from the sky. They've been looking up here at the sun, the moon. Well, the moon wasn't there then, and it shows up. And by the way, that fake thing. So my reaction to this wasn't shock. It was like, yeah, they don't shock you. It's just profound sense of clarity. Remember I said, you can see now. The owl sees is what I put in that thing. And we've not been the players in our own history. We've been the chessboard that they're playing on. And they say that when they put the chessboards of duality and all of the, stuff that the Masonic people do, they send us messages all over the place. And the battlefield, well, the undeniable truth that crystallized here is that human history is an external battlefield for warring components of our collective shadow. So you got to remember, I always say sometimes that we're in the mind of God. And when Carl Jung talked about the archetypes, and I'm working on something now that I'll reveal in about 60 to 90 days that's going to be very good for you to use. But he talks about the archetypes and how it all connects to the collective unconscious, right? And we should know the collective unconscious is where all of us is collective, is we're there. And it goes back to David Icke, when I started learning, he was saying that we're all infinite consciousness awareness. We're all connected in some point, right? It's kind of like, think about the internet, right? You can just go up into the web. Everything's connected in this cloud of space. So down there, the primordial archetypes that we all have and share is because it's a collective unconscious in all these humans. It has to be. And I only think of that is if we all came from this DNA structure, somewhere along the way, that collective unconscious we're all connected to. And they know it, and they tap into it, and they could try to control it. But what if we fight back on that level too? I just throw that out there. I'm just speaking right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm just throwing it out there to the side and everything else. And then you can just kind of go there. But it's Tuesday, and I'm just talking. And yesterday, like I said, go to my channel, man, my personal channel. Subscribe. Here's some more stuff. Come to our Dallas stuff. Then we're going to try to do it in different places. I'm just trying to, us to get out together to do some stuff. And again, this is how we reclaim our sovereignty, right? By understanding that their power is not their strength, but their profound, horrifying emptiness is, right? And the secret isn't what is their reptilian bloodline, it's what's missing. And that's the whole point, is what's missing. And of course, when we want to fight back, the strategic advantage is knowing their flaw. The reptilian bloodline is a conscious without Venus. Now, see, I'm using the word. We're talking about consciousness now, right? We got consciousness, subconscious, and way down is the collective unconscious. And we're not tapping into that on a regular conversation. It's going through symbols and symbolism, right? That's where that is happening. And so we're going to be doing that. The greatness of Judy Bird says that's my friend, y'all. She said, community is everything. You got that right. And here is my latest mala. It's jade mala, and it is a beautiful mala. And we were giving away some malas at the event, and I just didn't get a chance to do that. So I'm gonna do some next time. I wear mine with my little owl and all that, my protections and all that stuff. But anyway, we're gonna do that. So make sure you come to the next Dallas. Get the text list down there. Get on the text list. Text meet up to it, and then you'll start getting all our texts and everything. And then we're going to do some stuff in Houston. But I am going down to Brother Joseph's event. So if y'all have not, find his stuff and let him know you heard it from me, Roderick, and that you're coming. And I don't know, it's a limited space, but fill it up. Make him go and buy other chairs and stuff. Make him go and rent a bigger place at the last minute, right? That's a hard thing to do, but it's a loving thing to do. All right. So anyway, they can simulate compassion, but they cannot feel it. All right. And just know that. And they cannot build a true civilization because of the lack of magnetic force of love that holds it together. This is why I talk about love. Love is so powerful. It really is. It really is. So let's be clear about what this war truly is. It's the conflict between two cosmic principles. It is the Martian fire conquest against the Venetian heart of connection. I want you to know that. And what has this experience taught me personally is that their divine right is a genetic flaw. It's just what it is. It's a fraud. It's unreal. And it's our divine right is our spiritual inheritance. We inherit this in the spiritual world. And one thing that the reptilian agenda cannot extinguish is our capacity for empathy and love. This is what it's all about tonight, people. All right, so let's get into what I call the modern reality of this. See, I looked at their so-called secret societies and their elite families, and I don't see tradition. This is an assault on our sovereignty. I see a meticulously managed breeding program designed to seize control of every level of global power. That's what they're doing. Okay, we should know that. We can see that together. We can work it together and understand that we can move around that way. And their entire game changed the moment I stopped seeing skulls and bows as a fraternity, but recognize it for what it is genetic sorting mechanism does. It's just, that's all it's doing. And a turning point, and that's a word, where the filter of their bloodline directly into the halls of government. Why not? If you're going to do it, you're going to put everybody you have in power. So let's cut through the noise here. The one action that exposes the entire operation is how they recruit specifically dynasty families. See, they check the bloods. And they're using club and genetic gatekeepers to protect this lineage above all else. This is what they're doing. This is exactly what they're doing. All right. And so when I unmasked the true purpose of the fraternities, I exposed their end game. And now you know some of it too. And you can continue the knowledge and continue, because it isn't about creating a business network like people think. It's about installing their bloodlines into command centers of finance, media, politics, because you've heard the saying, blood is thicker than water. Probably so. Probably so in this case. And you're talking about having a planetary chessboard out here. The real battleground isn't what you read in these history books, even though we got people like Fritz Springmeier that's exposing them left and right, within his books. This bloodline of the Illuminati, this is a deep book. Now, if you are part of our Patreon, in our secret, I've uploaded this $100 something book and PDF. You can go and read it, just it's in there. But go get access to our uncensored area, patreon.com/truth versus authority. We'll be live in there Thursday. We do pop-ups during the week and stuff that you're not going to hear out here. We can't talk about it out here. We just can't. I don't get enough support for that. This is it. This is a community-funded show. And then when you all feel like giving, you can. There is I think a link to our Cash App at the bottom. If you find any value, you can do that. I can put a banner across the screen, but that's okay. It's not distracting the people, and like I said, it's just your own. If you find value, you can. If not, we continue because we do this out of love too. But the undeniable truth that crystallized from the manufacture of chaos is that we have not been the players in our own history. We just have not. We've been the board on which the horrifying game is played on. That's what they have done. And the key insight of this is that it gives us the high ground in knowing finance, both of the sides, every conflict. That's what they're doing. They're financing both sides. Problem, reaction, solution. And the genosis of this and all of that allows us to see their patterns, reject their false choices, and reclaim the narrative of our own history. That's what we should be doing. And when I contemplate the world wars, my reaction isn't sadness. It's like, man, it's a cold, righteous anger, man, because you see the game, the play, and why people have to be sacrificed as pawns because of that. That's what's really happening. And so the disgust that I feel about it comes from certain that millions of people got unalive for the nation, but they was all expendable, like I said, in a squattable between two rival hybrids and factions. And we were just the pawns. And so imagine that happening every day now in our own lives. And the ultimate lesson here is that the truth that they hide in plain sight, by the way, is their symbols and is not metaphor. People, it's time to see the symbols and the symbolism. So when I did that little channel, I just wanted to give you a positive side. But as you should know, and you can go right now, go to the government U.S. Trademark Office. Listen to me now. Even if even the haters are listening, but I know my people that love me are listening too. But you can go backtrack, go to the trademark office, type in 3 things, or my name, Roderick Martin, and you're going to see the symbolizer has now been registered trademark and all the things that is to cover from symbolism to you, whatever, but it's all about truth. So, all right, we can be a hero. Denzel Washington became a hero with the Equalizer. He was the vigilante of justice. I am now the vigilante of truth, okay? The symbolizer. And I just thought I would wear that with my cape and love it. And when you hear me say, you may not believe it, that's now trademark too. Yes, it's all trademark. Truth versus authority, trademark with a R. Nobody can steal it and use it. Trademark your stuff. When you hear high strangeness, everybody using it, that's mine. I can go to Etsy right now. You know how many high strangeness shirts are being sold on Etsy? I own the clothing line trademark and that, and I have just not had the time to send a cease and desist letter. For what? Not right now, but later on I may have to. I don't know, but I do. I own them. It's my trademarks. Somebody said they see it right now. Yeah, I'm not lying to you. It's my trademarks. And so, this is what we do. You know, we cover our verbiage. So everything changed the moment I stopped interpreting the heraldry as a sign of who worship and realized declaration. And this is the turning point where we see the dragon not as the enemy, but as a patriarch of the entire global system. You know, Sarah Mill said he sees all of them. Yeah, there you go. And that's so that they can't take my stuff down and say you can't say this because I own it and I can say it, and they can't say it. So it's like building that nest egg of truth. And now all of a sudden, we can do what we do, baby. We can do it. So anyway, when I revealed the true purpose behind displaying these symbols so openly, I exposed a profound concept, okay? Their end game is to rule in plain sight. This is why they need our permission for everything. This is why they tell us everything. They have to. And we got to start listening. And when we hear it, you got to believe them jokers. And when they joke and laugh out to something insidious that they said, you got to believe it. You walk up to somebody you want to date and they say, well, I used to have a man. And you asked her what happened. And she said, I only lied to me. And then you go, oh, you so cute, baby. What's your number? No, you better take off running. Run, save yourself. Believe it. You okay? So when they jokingly say they're not doing what they're doing it. They're doing it. They're doing it. And I'll give you a quick humorous example. I used to do network marketing, MLM. You all heard of this stuff. Some people call it pyramids. I've been a master distributor. I built organizations of thousands of people, and I loved it because I love helping with people. But whenever I ran into somebody who's really skeptical about what I was about to do, and they would go, Roderick, you know, you just trying to get some money for me. And I would look at them in the eyes and I would say, John, Susan, whatever their name was, the last thing I'm going to do is ask for money for you. Just come check it out. And they were like, oh, okay, you cool. And so when we get there and I finish the presentation, I ask for the money. And they would go, I thought you weren't going to ask for the money. I said it was the last thing I was going to do. And I'm at that point. You get what I'm saying? Believe it. Even if it sounds a little twisted, believe it. That's all I'm telling you. Just believe it. Just believe it. Just believe it. And so when I revealed the true purpose behind displaying these symbols so openly, I exposed a profound concept. Their end game is the rule in plain sight, absolutely certain that our conditioning prevents us from recognizing the mark of the beast that they wear as a crown, people. They know that. All right, so we got a few more things before we come to a close tonight. I'm going to go into a little esoteric side of what we just talked about at the beginning of the show. And so we're talking about how I've spent years tracking their bloodline. That's why I read all these books. It's there. You know, like I said, the 13 Illuminati bloodlines, you know, and let me just name some of those bloodlines for you real quickly as a favor to all of you. And there's 13 of them. I'm going to read them real. The Astor, the Bundys, the Collins, DuPont, Freeman, Kennedy, Lee, Onassis, Rockefeller, Rothschilds, Russell, and then there's a few on the side. The Mergelin, the Van Duns, the Crump, Reynolds, and a few others. People, you can track everything back there, and then it's going to take you all the way back to ancient, way over there in the ancient deserts where Credo Mutwa was talking about. Go. And their bloodlines track all the way back to the reptilian stuff. They just do. They just do. That's all I'm saying. But when I looked at the bloodlines, their history and wars, and then I was like, this is a misdirection probably. You know, I now see that never a war between two races. It was a war between cosmic principles. See, when the Illuminati and all that first was formed, they was like this, and then they broke off the factions and they broke off, and then someone else. And you've seen it in real life. How many of you have been to a church and the church splits? I witnessed it when I was a kid 3 times. I'm like, what's happening here? Half of the church leave with someone else and half of the leave with the church splits because the two pastors didn't fit the ideology and it was supposed to be all under God. What was that about? And some say took some of the members with them, some took some members with them. The church split. They couldn't even get along. But you know what they wanted? They wanted us. They wanted the members. Some pastors wanted us over here, and some wanted us over there. And we were the prize, the sheeple. They wanted it. They were like, yeah, we got to have them. That'll never happen again. Not even close. But when I unmasked the true purpose behind their agenda, I exposed their end game. And what, like I said, it wasn't a planetary lockdown. It was the metaphysical extermination of the Venusian principle, leaving only the cold, barren Martian logic of predator to rule. That's what they want. And the real battleground, the core tension here is the fight between spirituality, barren consciousness, and the rules during conflict and division, and spirituality, rich humanity, who those destinies to create through connection and empathy. That's what it was. That's all it was. And the undeniable truth that crystallizes here is that their power is a facade. It's always been. It's a profound, horrifying spiritual emptiness, a vacuum that they desperately try to fill by consuming the light of our involving souls. Remember, we're light beings. It's the light. So when you get into this thing, just close your eyes and put that light around you. And what I do, I visualize that light and I make that booger explode like, and you can just see the black parasitic stuff that, and you can visualize. You could do that. Put the light around you and explode that bad boy. Just make it pulsate, and then visualize your feet tapping into the ground like roots and going down deep into the earth cores, drawing in all of that energy. You know what I'm saying? As you're grounded, and then you let it fill up and just let your body fill up in theory and just go, let it blow up. You do that in your mind. You'll be surprised. You'll be really surprised. They built their entire global prison on the foundation of divine right. Okay, and they passed it down through their blood. And without absolute certainty, I now can state that their sacred lineage is nothing more, like I said, than a cosmic fraud, people. This is their ultimate assault on our sovereignty. I see their attempt to seize control of nations, not the nations really, but our divine birthright. This is why if you go back to when you're born, there's a difference between a certificate of birth and birth certificate. No, we're going to talk about that privately in our Patreon because we can't do it here. And how our parents, you, all of us, we sign our people over to them, our babies. And I was signed over, and I signed my kids over to them, and then we apply for a birth certificate. But that certificate of birth, they got it. The whole 9 yards to the corporation of their business. Not the United States of the people, to the corporation of the United States business empire or whatever that's ruled by presidents and vice presidents and all that stuff. All right, we got a love. Look at that. We got a love. Shout out. I love y'all. Cool. Can I get on a Patreon with you? You sure can. I'm going to put some on the screen. And then I want you to screenshot this, okay? So you can find it right there. Screenshot this. That's the Patreon. And you'll see, the luminous circle or whatever when you get there. But I will tell you that our Patreon is 83 cents a day. 83 cents a day is our Patreon. You could add that up, but 83 cents a day. Just 83 cents a day. Some people throw that out the window. They leave it in the cup holders of the cars on a daily basis. They get changed and buy something and don't even worry about the pennies, nickels, and dimes. But I will take them, okay? So I realized the secret, but there's a link in the description too to our Patreon as well. But the one that says 83 cents a day, add that up. You'll see that's the one you want to join. It'll give you all access. And we can go there. I realized the secret isn't in our blood, but what's missing from their consciousness, okay? And remember I said that the power is one thing, but they can't replicate it. And how often do you get on there? Right now I do it every Thursday, but Patreon just, and this is too energetic from, energy. All right, from the high. Okay then. Okay, well anyway, you got it. I pronounce words sometimes I mess them up, so energetic. But yeah, so now that Patreon has put a live thing, because they open it up to everybody now. I just got it. So now during the day, I can just click and just go live and while I'm sitting at my desk or on my phone driving. If I see some stuff that y'all need to see, I'll start doing that too. But I do some training and different stuff. We do live every Thursday around 7 and sometimes 8 o'clock on Patreon. But you'll get the notice. But now eventually we're going to start going live all the time throughout during the week, during the daytime in Patreon, because we just can't say stuff here. I said it the other day. They monitor everything. And you just seen it recently. Watch the news. For the first time, the administration is now putting something in rule where press has to be vetted to know what they're going to ask and say before they come to one of the presidential press conference, so that they won't tell us and ask them something they don't want us to know. That has never been done before. We already seen them silencing people from taking shots at them. The world is changing. And we're voting for it or electing it. And that's something else we'll talk about, because there's two different things. You should know by now, voting and electing is two different things. Electors is the ones who's doing it. Voting is just a waste of time. And they don't count. Yeah. Voting is saying, I want you to be my ruler. And electing is saying, you are the one who's going to represent me. They're picking who represent them. We're voting for who we want to rule over us. All right. That's a whole nother story. All right. So let me continue. The battlefield is not the place that you can point on this map. The war is fought and won inside the temple of our own body with the choice. This is why I talk about the mind is so important to what we're doing, because the battlefield is here. So when I first started Truth versus Authority, I was thinking, authority is these people who, whatever, could be pastor, mom, parent, whoever just got a bad authority. But then I started realizing, involving, it's the mind. Authority is the mind, because people will say whatever my mind thinks. And most people know what they think, right? And when they can control what you think, then you don't know what you need to know. Ooh, that's deep right there. I can stop the whole show right there. I just ad-lib that shit. You go, boy. Shit. I love myself. Let me hug me for that one. You go, you boy. Mm-hmm. All right. You get what I'm saying? But we can do that. Anyway, the one action that exposes their entire operation is engineered society triggered up on what I call the reptilian brain and fear. And so that we choose their cold-blooded frequency and enslave ourselves on their behalf. I just want you to know that, and so we can do that. So the last part of this is to say that we're now an hour and 20 minutes in it. We're probably done for our show tonight, and I hope that you enjoy this show, my monologue and dialogue, so to speak. And I hope that you found value in the show. And you see on the screen, it says if you found value, you can, whatever your value is. It could be $1, it could be $20, it could be $100. You can cash out, whatever. We're a self-funded show. This is, I'm blessed that, Billy allows me to come to their podcast here on every Tuesday, and I'm still building my personal brand, Roderick Martin, Truth versus Authority. If you type it into YouTube, you will find that. And that's where we are. And I hope, once again, so let me say it I love you. I love Booby, and accept, our now bonded friendship that you and I have. And, but to the rest of you too, I love you. Remember, I told you I will promise to tell you by the end of the show that you are loved. And because you are. And if you haven't heard it in the last few days, then you're hearing it now, and you should feel it because it's sincere. All right. Because it's true love. I love you. All right. And that's just the bottom line. I can't do no explanation to it. I can't change it up a little bit. Can't put no love 1 through 10 and 9 is the high number, or let it be a 12. I love you. I just do. And you are a lovable person, and you should love someone too. And if you're not, then today you will hang up this live stream, and when you hug yourself, just know you're being hugged. I love you. There you go. Virtual hug for you too. And like I said, I will admit I don't hear it enough, but I'm working for it though. I'm working toward it, but I can feel it when it comes back. And so that's the good stuff, right? Absolutely. 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 And that's where it is. Absolutely. And we would do that. So with that being said, again, I want you to enjoy yourself, you know, enjoy the rest of the week. Stay away from the chaos, stay away from the anxiety that's already formulated for you to feel and all that stuff. And when you get that moment that you want to pause and be silent and you want to close your eyes and be quiet and be still, do that. I have a few people that, you know, we do stillness meditation when we at our events in Dallas. And I thought I had a little clip for it. We do stillness there. And actually, here it is right here. We do stillness in Dallas. And there's people behind that too. And then so we do that every Saturday to kick stuff off, get people's minds. And then hopefully someday you'll get introduced to a young lady does tea stillness, right? And so, you know, and I'm going to experience that one of these days. And so I'll share with you my experience and just sit there and be still and drink some tea, right? Or whatever. But it is a positive thing that people are out here giving you how to quiet that mind and command the mind. You need to tell it, I command you, you know, not it commands you, you command it. The mind should work for you, not you working for it. In most cases, some people, and I've done it too, you working for the mind, but it's time for you to get it to work for you. And we will do that. So again, I have a website, truthversusauthority.com. And, you know, you can find, you'll find these, a little luminous necklace, shirts and anything, if you want to support our website and everything else. All right. So I love y'all. Again, please go to my new channel, check it out. I'm just making sure I said everything I need to do. I talked about our sponsors. Make sure you go down, look at their links, subscribe to the channels, and love somebody and love yourself. Love yourself too. All right. I'm out. See y'all next week. Next Tuesday. Otherwise, you can come over my channel. You can see me during the week.
UFOs,
UAPs,
unidentified anomalous phenomena,
unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Who are they? Where are they from? And what is their intent?
all questions that immediately come to mind with the mention of UFOs. A Pentagon report is detailing a dramatic increase in UFO sightings, more than 350 since 2021. Many of them are explained as being drones, birds, or weather events, but about half of them remain unexplained.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
This video taken by the Navy showing what he describes as pyramid-shaped UFOs flying over the USS Russell off the San Diego coast in July of 2019. The Pentagon has since confirmed that the video is authentic.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection. Late this afternoon, a bulletin from New Mexico suggested that the widely publicized mystery of the flying saucers may soon be solved. Army Air Force officers reported that one of the strange discs had been found and inspected sometime last week. Our correspondents in Los Angeles and Chicago have been in contact with Army officials endeavoring to obtain all possible late information. Joe Wilson reports to us now from Chicago. The Army may be getting to the bottom of all this talk about the so-called flying saucers. As a matter of fact, the 509th Atomic Bomb Group headquarters at Roswell, New Mexico, reports that it has received one of the discs which landed on a ranch outside Roswell. The disc landed at a ranch at Corona, New Mexico, and the rancher turned it over to the Air Force. Rancher W.W. Brazil is the man who discovered the saucer.
There's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are.
More people are coming forward with their own sightings.
Videos recorded by U.S. Navy personnel have added a new layer of evidence to the current national debate about UFOs.
Right at that moment, I saw what looked like 5 lights flying in formation in kind of an inverted check mark.
Check over the contact of the project
this independent study team did not find any evidence that UAP have an extraterrestrial origin. We don't know what these UAP are.
The mysterious flying objects are still a mystery. NASA will continue investigating them and has appointed a director of UAP research.
Technology that we faced was far superior than anything that we had.
Look at the sky!